Wait! For those of you who are offended by life's cruelty, don't worry, there's an alternate ending. Cherdyakov arrived home, took off his coat, lay down on the sofa, and inherited 5 million rubles. There's not much point to it, but it is uplifting. I assure you, it's not my intention to paint life any harsher than it truly is. But some of us are indeed trapped. Witness the predicament of a young governess who cares for and educates the children of a well-to-do family.
Julia!
Trapped indeed.
Julia! Yes, madam? Look at me, child. Pick your head up. I like to see your eyes when I speak to you. Yes, madam. And how are the children coming along with their French lessons? They're very bright children, madam. I think. They're bright, you say, well. Why not? And mathematics. They're doing well in mathematics, I assume. Yes, madam. Especially Vanya. Certainly. I knew it. I excelled in mathematics. He gets up from his mother, would you say? Yes, madam. That's it. Don't be afraid to look people in the eyes, my dear. If you think of yourself as inferior, that's exactly how people will treat you. Yes, ma'am. A quiet girl, aren't you? Now then, let's settle our accounts. I imagine you must need money, although you never asked me for it yourself. Let's see now, we agreed on 30 rubles a month, correct? 40, ma'am. No, 30. I made a note of it. I always pay my governesses 30. Who told you 40? You did, ma'am. I spoke to no one else concerning money. Impossible. Maybe you thought you heard 40 when I said 30. If you kept your head up, that would never happen. Look at me again and I'll say it clearly. 30 rubles a month. Yes, ma'am. Settled. 30 a month it is. Now, you've been here for 2 months exactly. 2 months and 5 days, ma'am. No. Exactly 2 months. I made a note of it. You should keep the books the way I do so there wouldn't be any of these discrepancies. So, we have 2 months at 30 rubles a month. Comes to 60 rubles, correct? Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Subtract 9 Sundays. We did agree to subtract Sundays, didn't we? No, ma'am. Eyes. I always subtracted Sundays. I didn't bother making a note of it because I always do it. Don't you recall when I said to subtract Sundays? No, ma'am. Think. No, ma'am. You weren't thinking, your eyes were wandering. Look straight at my face and look hard. Do you remember now? I didn't hear you, Julia. Yes, ma'am. I was certain you would remember. Plus 3 holidays, correct? 2, ma'am. Christmas and New Year's. And your birthday, that's 3. I worked on my birthday, ma'am. You did? There was no need to. My governesses never worked on their birthday. But of course, ma'am. But that's not the question, Julia. We're discussing financial matters now. I will, however, only count 2 holidays if you insist. Do you insist? I did work, ma'am. Then you do insist. No, ma'am. Very well. That's 3 holidays, therefore we take off 12. Now, 4 days, little Kolya was sick and there were no lessons. But I gave lessons to Vanya, ma'am. True, but I engaged you to teach two children, not 1. Shall I pay you in full for only doing half the work? No, ma'am. So we'll deduct it. Now, 3 days, you had toothache, and my husband gave you permission not to work after lunch. Until 4. I worked until after 4. I have here, did not work after lunch. We have lunch at 1 and are finished at 2, not 4, correct? Yes, ma'am, but that's another 7 rubles off. 7 and 12 is 19. Subtract, leave 41 rubles, correct? Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Now, January 4th, you broke a teacup and a saucer. Is this true? Just the saucer, ma'am. What good is a teacup without a saucer? 2 rubles. That saucer was an heirloom. It cost much more than that, but I'll let it go. I'm used to taking losses. Thank you, ma'am. Now, January 9th, Kolya climbed a tree and tore his jacket. I forbid him to do so, ma'am. But he didn't listen, did he? 10 rubles. January 14th, Vanya's shoes were stolen. By the maid, ma'am. You discharged it yourself. True, but you get paid good money to watch everything. I explained that in our first meeting. Perhaps you weren't listening. Were you listening that day, Julia, or was your head in the clouds? Yes, ma'am. Yes, your head was in the clouds? No, ma'am. I was listening. Good girl. That means another 5 rubles off. Ah, Yes, the 16th of January, I gave you 10 rubles.
You didn't.
But I made a note of it. Why would I make a note of it if I didn't give it to you?
I don't know, ma'am.
That's not a satisfactory answer, Julia. Why would I make a note of giving you 10 rubles if I did not in fact give it to you, No answer? Then I must have given it to you, mustn't I?
Yes, ma'am. If you say so, ma'am.
Well, certainly I say so. That's the point of this little talk, to clear these matters up. So, take 27 from 41, leave 14 rubles, correct?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
What's this? Are you crying? Has something made you unhappy, Julia? Please tell me. It pains me to see you like this. I'm so sensitive to tears. What is it?
Only once since I've been here have I been given any money, and that was by your husband. On my birthday, he gave me 3 rubles.
Really? There's no note of that in my book. I'll put it down now. 3 rubles. Thank you for telling me. Sometimes I'm a little lax with my accounts, always shortchanging myself. So, we take 3 more from 14 leaves 11. Do you wish to check my figures?
There's no need to, ma'am.
Then we're settled. Here's your salary for 2 months, dear. 11 rubles. Count it.
That's not necessary, ma'am.
Come, let's keep the record straight. Count it.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's only 10 here, ma'am.
Are you sure? Possibly you dropped one. Look on the floor. See if there's a coin there.
I'm quite sure I didn't drop any, ma'am.
Well, it's not here on my desk, and I know I gave you 11 rubles. Look on the floor.
That's quite all right, ma'am. 10 rubles will be fine.
Well, keep the 10 for now, and if we don't find it again, if we don't find it throughout the week, we'll discuss it again next month.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. You're very kind, ma'am.
Julia, come back here. Why did you thank me?
For the money, ma'am.
For the money, but don't you realize what I've done? I've cheated you, robbed you. I have no such notes in my book. I came up with whatever came to mind. Instead of the 80 rubles I owed, I only gave you 10. I have actually stolen from you, and still you thank me? Why?
In the other places I worked, they didn't give me anything at all.
Then they cheated you even worse than that. I was playing a little joke on you, a cruel lesson just to teach you. You're much too trusting, and in this world that's very dangerous. I'm going to give you the entire 80 rubles. It's all ready for you. The rest is in this envelope. Here.
As you wish, ma'am.
Julia, is it possible to be so spineless?